viewers of Ero, welcome to the F4 stream in Saudi Arabia. We'll be seeing of our latest rivals of Skull Kick and Lucas Swarniak will lead this or win this race because Melvin isn't racing today. So they can close their gap to the leading driver right now. As we have the first person out on track. I don't have any audio. 1 second. Let me turn it up. I don't have any audio. Now it's back. So I believe one of the Hazes was out first. No, it was Matthew, so we'll be watching him. As he already invalidated somewhere. As we have Rice on an outlap on the mediums. I believe he has a quali ban. As Matthew, oh my god, that's too loud again. Matthew now is on the straight. Goes through the first chicane. It's a bit lagging for me, but it's decent enough for an F5 driver. As he goes through the fast sector where you can easily crash. Little lift there and there. So he just stays on track. Doesn't push to the limits. As I can't really see if he spins or not because he's lagging a bit. But he turns on the ERS and the fast. He goes wide. Did he invalidate there? No, he did slow down a lot. And the DRS is open. There's a Mercedes there. Lets him pass easily. No blocking. Gross goes to the final as Ninja retired. On track, Matthew sets 29.5. That isn't that fast. That will easily be beaten by probably Lucas. As already Rice did set a fast lap. As we have one fan already saying go Black Wolf. I agree with that. I hope Daniel getting a podium today. Lucas sets a 28.0 with a great lap. As F1 Conde sets 32.9, will go faster than Matthew. Sets fast sector 2. he goes to the straight and he sets it 28.8, goes to P4. We now have the debut drive of Chris 2009. As Fatney goes 27.6. And Chris sets a 28.9, currently P8. As we will now be watching Daniel through sector 1. All of the lifting coasting there. Fatnik was letting him past. And a 32.7. That's, I believe, 2/10 faster than F1 Condis was. What can he set through sector 2? It's a 1.011. I think this is aiming for 28.3 to 28.5, depends on what the last corner will be. And it's decently, but a bit of exit oversteer. And it will be a 28.6 even. Still P7, but you can definitely do better. The track isn't great right now yet, so now Nico Hilpsman on a lap. Goes through the turn 1 to turn 2 really slowly, really carefully. Goes really carefully through this section of the track. The fast left-hander touches the wall, goes off. We'll be setting a first sector time of a 34.4. That's not that great of a pace. So we also have Ryan McLean setting an 32.4 fastest sector 1 right now. Believe he was slipping a little bit there. Can't really tell if it's just lag or him actually slipping. But he sets faster sector 2 with a 1.005. I believe that's going to be in a 27 at least. As the last corner, you might get a little bit of slipstream, but not too much. And as he sets a 27.8, couldn't improve in the last sector. Too Fatnik. But still P2 right now. But they can both improve a lot. As we have Skull improving with 2/10. Currently aiming for P5 with 1 position. What can he do through the last corner? As The exit oversteer isn't there. Gets a lot of pace through the corner. Sets it 28.2 with 2/10 improvement still. Goes P5 above Suchel. Suchel, an F5 driver, actually in P6. As we have Lucas also on the lap, sets fast to sector 1 with 2/10 improvement. He needs to improve 4/10 at least to be P1. So he touches the wall on the right hand. Sets a 1.002, already an improvement of 3.5 tenths. Only need to find half of a tenth more through the last sector. She goes through the final corner onto the straight. Believe that's really clean. Then over 27.4, even 2.5 tenths of an improvement in the last sector. Svetnik will also be setting another lap. As THG sets at 27.5, improves also a lot. Skull isn't on the lap. Matthew is improving with 5 tenths right now. Or he is not. Actually, as Mark is also not setting a lap now. So we'll be watching Vetnik now going in a lap, going fast through the final corner onto the main straight. As he goes quick through the first chicane over to the fast left-hander. Stays perfectly in the lines, goes to the next fast left-hander to the right-hander. Manages to stay within the lines again. Does a really clean sector 1. Sets it 31.9 with a 3/10 improvement. Vetnik is cooking right now. Over to the left-hander again. Is he gonna get under the 1 minute gap of sector 2? It's gonna be a 59.8 with almost 4 tenths of an improvement. As he right now is gonna set at 27.2 over to the last corner onto the main straight. With how much did he improve? It's gonna be 27, even a 26.996 improves with 6 tenths. What an incredible lap. Strava goes wide and invalidates. Daniel Spitting, F1 Cons is improving with 3 tenths. Over to improves with 5 tenths right now. Over to the last sector. Will he improve more? He's currently aiming already for P7. Slight lockup to the last, hits the wall. Over to the finish line, 28.2 it is, over to P6. Even with that little lockup and touching the wall, he still is faster than Skull. we have Jarnino on the lap. Over to the last corner now. Does it really wide? Gets a good exit. Over to the main straight, sets 28.1 over to P6. Going faster than Condes. So we have a couple people now out. Calvary on his hot lap. This is a really clean sector 1 with spins. That might have been some commentating mistake or jinx, whatever you can call it. But it's definitely a jinx. But we will be watching Chris now. Over to the first chicane. Does it really clean, but maybe a bit on the slow side. Over to the most annoying part of this track, and he was stuck on the curb, and that will lose him a lot of time. 1.5 seconds. He won't improve. Matthew is also on a lap. As we have the top 5 actually out for a lap. Chris lets him past really good. Matthew even gets a little slipstream from it. Improves to 6 tenths, 1004. Goes to P9 right now. Can he find more time in the last corner? That's a decent corner, not really great, but goes on the line with a 27.7 actually. 1.1 second improvement. Goes in 4th place. Suchel isn't improving right now. We have Lucas improving with 6 tenths. But he retired from the session somehow. I don't know what happened here. He retired on track. While improving with 6 tenths. As Suchel retires. He goes through the fast, to the line, sets a 27.3 into P2. As Vetnik will stay ahead. Matthew won't improve. Ryan is improving with 4 tenths. But on the last corner he did touch the wall. Will he still improve? Yes, he will, but with 3 tenths now. Goes to P4 though. As we have Vetnik on pole. He set an insane lap. We have it completely on camera. As they probably will go soft medium. It is possible, but also soft hard is a good choice. But medium hard is maybe even the best choice to do, to just keep consistency on this track, as the walls are really close. As the lights go out, we'll have Vetnik with a good start. Then they're going 3 wide into turn 1. Is something happening there? No, not yet. They'll be going 2 wide still. As Mercedes is going really wide there. I believe that's Matthew. No incidents yet. No big incidents at least. Oh, Ninja and Skull. Matthew gets even a 5-second penalty for touching Mark under the safety car, I believe. It's a big incident happened with Skull and probably his teammate getting spun around, I believe. But that's the first safety car already. I believe it's gonna be another 2 or 3. As we do have 2 debut drivers on the track. They are P7 and 8. It's Chris 2009. I think he is from 2009. I don't know for sure, but... And we have F1 Condes, also a debut driver. We'll see if they can get points in their first race. That will be amazing. As 2 people are pitting, those 2 are pitting, and some people also, Matthew and Mark and Daniel. I see a front wing for Daniel, I see front wing for Matthew, I believe. Oh no, it's his second time penalty, and the front wing, as Mark also needed to replace his front wing, and I believe Gondes and Chris also needed to replace the front wing. So 6 drivers with front wing damage in the first sector of the race. And a DNF, of course. So we'll be having at least 2 more safety cars, and maybe then another 2 virtual safety cars. As people will drive really aggressively. As we'll be watching what position changes. Calvary made 7 positions already. That's 6 probably from people pitting, and then 1 overtake. So they pitted to soft, medium, and the rest hards. Nico Hiltonen started on the hards, as we have Vetnik starting on the mediums, and Lucas also really fast on softs. He needs to overtake Vetnik, of course, within 2 laps after the safety car goes in. That will be ideal for him, otherwise he will get held up a lot. As the safety car will go in next lap, as Nico actually is pitting. Is he gonna pit for front wing damage? Because maybe the safety car will stay out longer then. Is Nico pitting for front wing damage? No, he wasn't. He's just pitting to mediums. He did lose all his position that he had. But he will be able to catch a safety car still. As Nico already catched up to the safety car, so that's good for him. It's now P10 to P16 have pitted, but the tire advantage won't be that big because of the safety car, and of course it's literally lap 3 and the safety car does go in this lap. So now I have to watch Lucas if he goes in turn 1 already on the inside, if he goes for the move, or if Vetnik just has a really good exit through this final corner and manages to stay ahead. Because I think it would be smart to start when you're going out of the corner, because then that speed you can bring with. But they are not, they're just going now. Lucas now might be able to overtake still. They're both not using any. Won't get past. Lucas stays behind. As do we have moves? Don't believe so. As Lucas was caught up on the curb and will now rejoin sort of safely, at least safe enough. Let THG pass. Now THG needs to catch up with Vetnik before the DRS gets opened. They both are pushing. Vetnik also did use his battery. Calvary and Rice are now side by side. Who's gonna break later, or who's gonna push each other in the wall? Calvary is leading, and Rafael backs out. Does go around the outside and pushes him in the wall. Don't know what happened there completely, but he is ahead, and Chris DNF'd with a crash with maybe between Suchel or Kondis or Mark. I don't know. I was watching a different battle. But we have the second safety car in lap 4 already. As Rises overtakes your Nino to pit. Daniel moves up to P8. 4 people pitting: Rafael, Nino, and Calvary and Lee Webb. As they double stacked. I see him pit with see the front wing for Lee Webb changing. As Vetnik is still leading. This is gonna be a race with only safety cars. It's the second DNF and the second safety car already. As one of the debut drivers crashed out. As it was F1 Condis. And Matthew actually has something. He gets 50 pounds if he manages to score points, but he won't, he will crash again. As the safety car won't be going this lap, of course. We'll be waiting another lap to do so. As something happened under the safety car. As Condis has damaged his wing. Or at least did he pit another time? He indeed pitted 2 times. As we now have Matthew in P9, Daniel in P7, Mark in P6. Those guys are going some places. As the safety car does go in this lap. You now can watch Vetnik or THC to see if Vetnik can catch him off guard. As Vetnik, is he gonna go out of the corner? Yes, he will. He has a 4/10 gap. Now the whole pack is really far outside of each other because of this start. As we have Gondis still waiting there. Nico Hiltonen is gonna stay out of collisions here. She goes with a white line. Not a bad corner. Is he gonna let Lewis pass? No, he did go off track. It won't really gain an advantage from it. Lewis might send it in the inside. No. As Nico does go off again, and he lets them past, I believe. Yes, he does. So we have Skull going past Daniel now. Daniel does have the inside line. He's gonna able to. He's staying behind as Matthew goes in the wall. They touched. Matthew in the wall. Does he have damage? Yes, he has. He immediately pits. Don't know if Daniel could do something about it. Whatever happened there, but Matthew probably will report it. Because we all know Matthew. He reports anything he sees. Janio is close behind Skull and they collide. Janio just didn't stay behind. There is caution. Only yellow flags, nothing more. That's Skull his race. Also gone, I believe. As Rafael did touch the wall there. We have Calvary close behind Daniel now. Is he gonna send it around the outside? Or maybe even the inside. He sends it through the inside line. As we just see Jarninho colliding with F1 Condis. Another collision between them. Or with Jarninho at least. Daniel gets overtaken around the outside by Calvary. Did get tapped a little, but nothing harsh, as the front 7, 8 are all outside of the second gap now. So we do have a battle between Daniel and Calvary still, as Jarninho and Condis pit for new front wings. As Rice actually made a mistake probably somewhere, that Calvary now is behind. As Calvary might even send it at the inside at the final corner again. He stays behind. And he will get past, but Calvary gets actually a 3-second time penalty because he was off track limits while he was trying to stay behind. As Suchu retires in sector 1, and that's another safety car. He just retires again after the first chicane. As Nico Hiltonen is now in P8. But this is already the third safety car in only 10 laps of time. We have only had like 5 laps of racing maybe. As Vetnik is pitting for the hards. He will go to the end with that, but there will be another safety car. We have Nico and Daniel also pitting. As we have people pitting to the hards. Mark actually leading on hards. He pitted at the first safety car to those hards. And he will be leading the safety car now. An F5 driver leading an F4 safety car. Would never guess that. As we have Vetnik basically leading on the new tires in P4. Daniel down to P10, Matthew in P9 back again. Matthew is gonna score points and he's gonna get 50 pounds for that. But we all know Matthew. He's gonna crash in the last lap. So the safety car goes in next lap. We have Skull in P14 now. He will get back to the group again. As he's just warming his tires with the new strategy of this game. As Jarnio left the session, he now will become ghosted, and that might cause problems for the people behind him. As we have Lucas now basically down to P4, while he started second, so he's not having that much of a good race right now. But we need to see what those front three will be getting from the people behind, because this will be some battling at least. We have people now gonna be close to each other instead of a 2 second gap between each car. As safety car goes in this lap. As when does Mark? He gets pushed from behind by Calvary. What the fuck happened there? He just gets pushed in the wall. As Mark will definitely pit now because he has front wing damage. But what the hell was this? So now Lee Webb still leading and already getting overtaken by Joshua. As Lee Webb has the inside, that's a really bad line to hold there. They're getting contact behind. So Lucas is now close behind Ryan. Will he send it down the inside? Yes, he will. Is there gonna be contact? Not really. Is Ryan gonna crash into Lee? What will we see here? As he is overtaking him here now with a lot of battery use. Lee Webb wasn't using any. As Lucas also gets past with a lot of ERS use. As Mark pitted to softs. As THC overtook Vetnik somehow. And Lucas overtook Ryan. So Lucas sets fastest lap of the race. He has a big advantage with those mediums. Lucas is trying to catch Vetnik here, as Vetnik does slow a lot down to THC. They're all using a lot except for Ryan. Ryan just stays behind of Lucas and catches them with the slipstream. Lucas is using all of his battery again. As he gets the move done into the final corner. And Lucas needs to catch THC with a lot now. He is using again all of his battery. We've seen it the past couple races, that he's using his entire battery to just use it. As Ryan also used a lot, now close behind Vetnik. I think Vetnik has problems. Maybe front wing damage. We don't know. Ryan is still catching as Skull gets overtaken by your Neo. Quite a big gap actually. We now have Rice close behind, Ryan close behind. He's gonna overtake him here. Matthew gets another penalty. Gets cleanly passed, as Rice didn't manage to make it. As we have a car slowing down, that's cool. As Rice is not using his battery to try to overtake Lee Webb, as he will go for the inside line, pushes him a little bit and makes the move stick. Daniel is now close behind Candice. As Mark sets the fastest lap on his soft. Mark is actually flying this race. He was P4 in the F5 race. Missed out on the podium with 0.003 of a second. They were going 3 wide basically on the final straight to the finish line. It was actually a Cars movie going like that photo finish. As Lee Webb is now close behind Rice, does touch him there. Don't believe he gets front wing damage from this. We'll see if he pits or if he stays out. He stays out, so it's not gonna be big, and he overtakes him with a major gap. As Ryan now overtakes Vetnik. Vetnik is having problems. Can we see front wing damage on his car? Don't know if we can, but it does look like it. What other explanation do we have for this? As Nico Hilton overtakes Matthew because Matthew is pitting. As Lucas is close behind THC now, within the 1 second gap. Also is Rice. Look at DRS here. It's gonna be able to overtake here, just getting a bit closer with a 10th or so. But loses a lot of time to those corners. It's actually incredible losing that much time on corners with 5 laps newer mediums. As you will get DRS here again. Won't stay in the slipstream, but he will get past him, or at least he is in the inside and will. And Lee Webb stays in front because he has the better line. But he did push Rice off and gets a time penalty. That will probably get removed. Or at least reported for pushing off track. As we have Lucas now close behind THC. Will we see an overtake through the next DRS zone? Won't get past here. Adam, I know you like Vetnik, and I know Adam, you're famous now because of your video in the video with Angry Ginch. But Vetnik is having problems. As Lucas now will get past THC for the race lead. But THC has newer tires and better lasting tires. As Vetnik now goes into the podium positions. Vetnik is actually listening to you. He is now gonna cook. He is catching actually. So Vetnik is having his pace back. As we have Rice pitting. Calvary close behind Matthew. Matthew is in the points right now. Is he gonna stay in the points? We need to know that. Because we also Rice really close behind. Cats on the curb stuck. You don't want to see something like that. As we have the Alpine spinning of Calvary and losing his car. His front wing is completely in the wall. It won't be a safety car. As THC is close behind, staying behind, probably recharging. Calvary retired from the session now. He crashed. As Nico Hilton almost getting left. As it still isn't the safety car. As Nico lets them pass. Calvary now left. So we have Ryan close behind Vetnik. They are probably battling and losing a lot of time to the people ahead. They now get past Nico Hilton. As Matthew retired from the race. And it's a safety car. Matthew won't score points. Just like I said before. He will probably crash later in this race. As now Vetnik gets close behind. Can we see them pitting to softs? That's the question. Because Condis is on new softs. And will now be close behind them if they don't pit. And Lucas is pitting, THC is pitting, Vetnik then pits, Ryan pits. Let's see what Lee Webb does. Lee Webb is gonna pit. As Daniel is also gonna go in for the pits. Here Neo has back control of his car, of course. Goes into the pits. As Condis is probably gonna stay out actually. And he will gain maybe 3 or 4 positions from this. I think 2 or 3. But he needs to, of course, focus on the delta. He gets at least 2. Maybe he gets Lee Webb as well. But there Lee Webb already was outside of the exit. Now the David Driver is in P6. From pitting 1 lap earlier than other people. As Skull also stays out on his softs. As we have Nico Hiltonen not able to do anything now. But he will get back behind of the safety car. But he needs to catch a minute or so. as we'll be having Lucas actually leading, and THC in P2 and Vetnik P3. Is Vetnik gonna be able to overtake them in 3 laps time? There's gonna be 1 or 2 laps of DRS, so it's all gonna be skill to see who is faster. As with Nico, he didn't go in the pits last time, so he will probably stay out on those tires. Nico might actually still get points. We can see Nico getting points in F4. If 2 people crash, it can happen with such a restart. As he does pits now. 2 softs. Probably. As we have penalties, Condis 3 seconds, Rice 6 seconds and Nico 3 seconds. And the position changes, Lee Webb 9 positions gained. He's going for driver of the day right now. If he actually gets podium, then he is for sure driver of the day. Otherwise it might be Lucas getting from P3 to P1 actually. And having an amazing race of course. Then we have Daniel moving up with 6 positions. Mark is now P11, dropped all the way down after those incidents. As we have Nico still 35 seconds behind. And the safety car might actually go in this lap. As Nico can't catch up if it goes in this lap. But will it? Because Nico is still so far behind. No, it won't. It won't go in this lap. So Nico will be able to catch. And will be having 2 laps of racing. Only 2 laps of racing. To see what happened here. They're overtaking each other or something. Don't know what's happening there, but Rice, as Nico is pitting again, is he gonna pit for the front wing? As I'll be showing you the tires, but it's mostly gonna be softs. But as you can see, people in front with 2 laps, 6 laps, we have someone with 3 laps, then 2 again, and Skull 7. Then behind 2 and Nico Hiltonen on 0 lap old softs, gonna get past everyone of course. He's gonna catch back up and then get past everyone and win the race. We need to see a Nico Hiltonen podium of course. I've predicted Matthew crashing, so now Vetnik still needs to win, or Lee Webb to podium places. as the safety car goes in this lap, we'll be having 2 laps of racing only. And this is just all the decider. The people with the penalties will drop a lot of paces because of this. And we have penalties 3, 6 and 3 seconds. Rice with 6. He's gonna drop out of the points probably because of it. As Skull does have really old softs. Might also drop some places because of it. So now we're kind of side by side, what is not allowed. As Lucas goes now when THE just goes in the back of him. As we have Fatney close behind. Is he gonna send it into turn 1? He won't, he will stay behind. Does he get the switchback done? Couldn't get the switchback done. So Ryan is now close behind him. As Skull gets a 3-second time penalty. And with Janio up to P7. Something happened at least there. So we have Condes, the debut driver, in P5. Does have a 3-second time penalty. Will drop some plates at the end. As Skull drops down to P12 now. We have Vetnik using a lot of his battery, as is THE and Lucas, because they want to stay ahead. As Lucas and Ryan will now overtake him. See, there was just a little gap, but he goes for it. Because Vetnik made a mistake. Now Vetnik is out of the podium positions. As someone DNF'd. It's Rice actually. So Nico is now on for points in F4. We were loving to see that. As Ryan sets the fastest lap of the race now. As Skull is pitting. That means Nico gets points. And Skull won't be able to get a point for fastest lap because this is the last lap. So we have Ryan close behind THE. THE goes a bit off. They all have no battery left. As Vetnik is also out of the podium positions now, also out of the fight. Ryan is probably the only person that can still fight for a position ahead. There won't be any DRS to help him. It's just a slipstream and the battery that can help him here. He will stay behind here. How much time did he lost here? Almost 3/10. Then is he gonna send it through the inside or the outside line of this final corner? Is he gonna go for the switchback? He is trying to go for the switchback. We will be having maybe a photo finish with THE. He's pushing everything out. The Boulevard. THE just has a little bit of faster straight line speed. And he stays ahead. So we have Lee Webb in P5. And Vetnik now P4. Dropped down from an amazing quali lap. All the way to P4. And we have the big point scorer of Nico Hiltunen. Scoring a point in F4. That's a milestone for him. Amazing race of Nico. Now I believe Nico is gonna be driver of the day. As it says it's Condis, but Well, we all know it's gonna be Nico. As we have the podium of Lucas, THC, and then Ryan McLean almost even getting to P2 in the last couple of corners, but just didn't manage to stick it there. As we have Lucas going from P3 all the way to the race win. Ryan in P3 with the fastest lap. He will be happy with that, but unfortunately not getting the move done to THC. THC stays P2. Vetting dropped down from P1 to P4. As we have Lee Webb all the way from P14 to P5. F1 Condes now is debut in P6 is really great. Mark, an F5 driver in P7. He is the highest position for an F5 driver. He also did really great. And with Daniel in P8, Jarnino in P9 and Nico Hiltonen in P10. Amazingly done. As this will be the ending of the F4 stream, as we'll be having next week, we're gonna have Bahrain GP, so that's gonna be an exciting race again. So till next week in Bahrain.